Shreya, please give us an understanding on the protesters and their demands at this moment. We see that they're so angry, condemning Bhagwant Mann for downgrading his security while his father raised several concerns over threats that his son was receiving time and again.
Well, yes, Nabila, we've seen multiple protests erupt time to time from ones in Mansa. We've also seen the protests that have also reached the national capital. Now in Mansa Civic Hospital, we do know that there were some protesters who were protesting against the government, and especially the two questions that they were raising were, one, that on what assessment was Sidhu Moose Wala's security downgraded, and the second question was that the names of all those 424 people whose security was downgraded, why was it leaked in public domain? Because it's an extremely sensitive information, even if that it's a routine task that is done before the Galu Ghera week. Why would the names be put in the public domain? So that is the question that the protesters are raising time and again. They also stating that they do not have faith in the police, that they will nab the culprits, and largely they are requesting the police to look into the matter on what resulted into the leakage of this document and the security assessment, which was a complete failure, because of which we saw that just a day after the security was reduced of Sidhu Moose Wala, this dastardly attack took place, which took his life.
You know, at this point, we see that there are two cars that try to intercept the Thar vehicle. In fact, those two vehicles, have they been identified? Whose is it? What exactly is the reason to carry out this murder? Of course, we know that this is an inter-gang rivalry, as per the police's initial reports. But that said, Shreya, I'll come back to you on that. But Sushant Mehra is also reporting from Delhi, where we're seeing large-scale protests over Sidhu Moose Wala's murder. Sushant, what are the demands put forth by those protesters right here in the national capital?
देखिए सिद्धू मूसेवाला की जिस तरीके से हत्या की गई है, उसके बाद कांग्रेस एकाएक सड़कों पर विरोध कर रही है आम आदमी पार्टी के खिलाफ कि किस तरीके से सुरक्षा का एक बड़ी चूक जो है वो साफ तौर पर नजर आई। दिल्ली की जिस तरीके से मैसेज देने की कोशिश की गई कि वीवीआईपी कल्चर जो है वो खत्म किया जाए, तमाम जो वीवीआईपी से उनकी सुरक्षा डाली जाए, और उसके बाद अचानक से सिद्धू मूसेवाला की हत्या होना, उस पर कांग्रेस अब सीधे तौर पर आम आदमी पार्टी को जिम्मेदार ठहराती हुई नजर आ रही है। आम आदमी पार्टी के मुख्यमंत्री अरविंद केजरीवाल के घर के बाहर कांग्रेस की तरफ से प्रदर्शन किया गया। कांग्रेस लगातार ये मांग कर रही है कि इस पूरे मामले की एक जांच जो है वो की जाए। जो वीआईपी सुरक्षा की बात मुख्यमंत्री अरविंद केजरीवाल और भगवंत मान की तरफ से की जाती है, बल्कि वो वीआईपी नहीं बल्कि महत्वपूर्ण लोग हैं। कांग्रेस का साफ तौर पर कहना है कि महत्वपूर्ण लोगों की सुरक्षा कांग्रेस अपने टाइम से देती आ रही है, जिनकी सुरक्षा को हर वक्त जो है वो खतरा रहता है। लेकिन ऐसे में उनकी सुरक्षा को हटा ले जाना एक बड़ी चूक है आम आदमी पार्टी की तरफ से। ऐसे में कहीं ना कहीं इसके लिए जिम्मेदार आम आदमी पार्टी को यहाँ पर ठहराती हुई कांग्रेस जो है वो फिलहाल नजर आ रही है। दफ्तर के उनके मुख्यमंत्री अरविंद केजरीवाल के घर के बाहर
प्रोटेस्टर्स जो है
वो किया गया। हालांकि
जी सुशांत, यहाँ पर दिल्ली में जो प्रोटेस्ट हो रहा है, वो प्रोटेस्टर्स क्या पॉलिटिकल पार्टी मेंबर्स हैं या सिद्धू के फैंस हैं? कौन है लोग जो वहाँ पर आंदोलन कर रहे हैं?
देखिए, जो प्रदर्शन कर रहे हैं ये प्रदर्शन दिल्ली कांग्रेस की तरफ से किया गया है। कांग्रेस प्रदेश अध्यक्ष और तमाम कांग्रेस के जो लीडर्स हैं वो यहाँ पर पहुंचे थे और उनकी तरफ से ये प्रदर्शन जो है वो किया गया। उनका साफ तौर पे कहना है कि इस पूरे मामले की जांच जो है वो होनी चाहिए कि आखिरकार सुरक्षा जो है वो क्यों उठाई गई। और इसके अलावा जो लोग हैं जिनकी सुरक्षा की वीवीआईपी कल्चर की बात दिल्ली में पंजाब के जो मुख्यमंत्री है वो कर रहे थे, उनकी सुरक्षा जो है वो उठाई गई। तकरीबन 400 के आसपास ऐसे लोग थे जिनके आसपास की सुरक्षा जो है वो उठाई गई थी। ऐसे में उनके नाम पब्लिक डोमेन में लाना, ऐसे में उनकी सुरक्षा को एक बड़ा खतरा था। यही वजह है कि कांग्रेस अब एकाएक मुद्दे पर जो है वो आम आदमी पार्टी को यहाँ पर घेरती हुई नजर आ रही है। इसका पूरा जिम्मेदारी जो है वो आम आदमी पार्टी के सिर पर फूटती हुई कांग्रेस जो है वो नजर आ रही है कि आखिरकार इतनी बड़ी सुरक्षा की जो चूक है, और ये आज नहीं इससे पहले भी कई बार जो है उस तरीके की घटनाएं हो रही हैं पंजाब में जिस तरीके से।
And that's what we see, that this is a perennial issue. Law and order issue has become a huge concern in the state of Punjab. Brazen killings, gangster wars that unfolds in the state, and here is a Bhagwant Mann government that has been caught off guard right a day after Chief Minister decides to downgrade Moose Wala security. A murder takes place of this high-profile singer, which has now resulted in huge political war targeting the Aam Aadmi Party for law and order failure in the state. Let me cut across to all those top developments. Now, popular Punjabi rap star and Congress leader Sidhu Moose Wala was shot dead on Sunday. Moose Wala's father writes a letter to Punjab Chief Minister Mann seeking a CBI and an NI investigation into this matter. Moose Wala's father has also sought a public apology from Punjab DGP for downgrading Sidhu's security. India Today has now accessed the copy of Moose Wala's father's FIR, which reveals that Sidhu received multiple threats from gangsters Lawrence Bishnoi. His mention in the FIR says that there were two gunmen who rushed towards Sidhu's car in separate cars right behind Moose Wala and spotted a Corolla car intercepting Moose Wala's Thar. He further mentions in that FIR copy that he spotted 4 people in the Corolla vehicle, and when his car reached the Jawahar village, another white Bolero was spotted within minutes away. They fired and left the spot. Top police officials now in Punjab revealed to India Today that 6 have been detained for questioning and were picked up based on their links with Lawrence Bishnoi's gang. The probe has further revealed that the vehicle used for Sidhu's murder had a fake number plate and was later attacked by AK-94 guns. In fact, a pistol was also recovered from Moose Wala's car, which has now been sent for investigation.
Right now with us is the ADGP Anti-Task Force, Mr. Pramod. Pramod, just wanted to know, right now, what leads have we got in this case?
Investigation is on. No more information on this currently.
Have we detained any person right now?
You let the investigation go on. We'll come back to you when we have to. Thank you.
Any sort of gangster involved in this? Any person named involved right now?
We can't name anybody right now, but surely there's a conspiracy behind all this.
So this was ADGP Anti-Task Force, Mr. Pramod Mann, just talking exclusively to India Today. He has reached the spot here and saying very possibility that it was the involvement of a gangster. But right now the investigation is still on. We had a word with ADGP Anti-Task Force, who was being appointed by the Mann government on month of April to keep a strike on the gangsters in Punjab. With video journalist Krishna Gopal, this is Lalit Sharma for India Today, Mansa.
Meanwhile, India Today's crime reporter Arvind Ojha, who was right there at the crime spot, has sent us this ground report. Let's have a look.
मनसा के उसी जगह पर मौजूद हूँ और ये देखिए सड़क पर यहीं पर सिद्धू मूसा वाले पर हमला हुआ था। ताबड़तोड़ 3 गाड़ियों से हमलावर थे और सड़क पर ये पूरी तरह से कांच बिखरा हुआ है। यहीं पर बाकायदा टारगेट करके सिद्धू मूसे वाले पर तकरीबन 20 से ज्यादा फायरिंग की गई और इसका अंदाजा आप इसी बात से लगा सकते हैं कि सड़क पर फायरिंग हुई थी और दीवार पर गोलियों के निशान आप देख पा रहे हैं। तकरीबन 3 जो गोलियां इस दीवार को छेद करके यहाँ पर निकली हैं। उसके अलावा जो 3 गाड़ियां थी वो सिद्धू मूसे वाला का पीछा करती। क्योंकि ये देखिए ये एक मोड़ है और अपराधी इसी बात का इंतजार करते हैं। दरअसल मोड़ पर गाड़ियां धीरी होती हैं। सिद्धू मूसे वाले के पीछे एक गाड़ी थी जबकि उसके आगे की तरफ 2 गाड़ी थी और जैसे ही मोड़ पर ये गाड़ी ढीली होती है, सिद्धू मूसे वाला जिस गाड़ी में बैठा था उसके 2 सहयोगी बैठे थे। हमलावर उतरते हैं और ताबड़तोड़ फायरिंग कर देते हैं और अंदाजा लगाइए यहाँ आसपास जितनी भी दीवारें हैं उन दीवारों पर गोलियों के निशान। ये देखिए ये गोलियों के निशान है। उसके अलावा दूसरी तरफ वहां पर भी गोलियों के निशान है।
All right, I'm going to quickly cut across to Shreya Chatterjee, who's currently live with us from Mansa. That's where the murder has taken place. Shreya, these visuals here are quite telling. We see that there are several cars trying to intercept Sidhu Moose Wala's car while he was en route. Any word on who are those people who were seated inside those vehicles? As much as the police say that 6 of them have been detained, are they really indeed linked to the death of Moose Wala, or have they been just picked up based on their connections with Lawrence Bishnoi? Shreya, if you can hear me, please go right ahead. How far has the investigation reached? And we see that the Thar car, the forensic team was thoroughly investigating to see that there were several bullet marks all over the vehicle. You know, we're still unable to understand as to why Sidhu Moose Wala opted to take a car that was not bulletproof. He was given a bulletproof security vehicle. Why did he opt against that on that day?
Well, yes, Nabila, there are pertinent questions that needs to be cleared. The clarity is yet to reach. But just to give a brief update on the investigative part, yes, there are 6 people who've been detained on the basis of the links that they have to the Lawrence Bishnoi gang. They are questioned, is also what we do know. Now, the other part of the information is the technical evidence that the police is right now looking into. Remember, the entire stretch from the house of Sidhu Moose Wala in Musa village to the Jawahar Ka village where the attack took place, and following the Barnala road, which was taken by the assailants to actually flee the crime spot. Entire stretch is right now being analyzed through CCTV footage. We do know that there are certain CCTV footage of stops. For example, there are restaurants, there are hotels that are located on the stretch where people might have got stopped over. Every little detail is right now being looked into by the Punjab police and especially by the SIT to get a picture of who those people were. But 8 people are what the police are right now trying to look in for. 6 have been detained. Their locations are also being traced, to corroborate whether they are the same ones who are actually responsible behind this entire incident. Now, apart from that, we do know that the mobile data dump is something which is very crucial to find out the investigation update, because the number of mobiles that could have been live in that very stretch that evening is a key piece of information that the Punjab police is also banking on to quickly nab on the suspects who fired upon at Sidhu Moose Wala. Yes, the police has come on record stating that this is a matter of gang rivalry, but they have to be people, you cannot just say that, that this is a incident that took place because one group, Lawrence Bishnoi, was angry about Sidhu Moose Wala over his alleged link to a person named Shaganpreet, who was his manager, who had linked to the death of the Youth Akali Dal leader Vicky Mudakhera. So these are pieces that the Punjab police is right now trying to actually put the pieces of the puzzle together and definitely
absolutely.
give
And
names.
of course, this is a theory which the Punjab police has come up with after you have Goldie Brar claiming, notorious gangster, claiming that he was the one behind this murder and he has done it at the behest of Lawrence Bishnoi. So they're looking at several angles now, but there is no single finger pointed at the sole reason to why Sidhu Moose Wala was unfortunately murdered. But my colleague Lalit has now sent this ground report, which also shows that one of that car, Bolero, how it really managed to intercept Sidhu Moose Wala's vehicle and fired at it. Let's have a look.
Famous Punjabi singer and Congress leader Sidhu Moose Wala was shot dead on Sunday evening by the assailants, and the vehicle which was being used by the attackers is a Bolero car having number DL10CT0196, and as per the inputs what we are getting from the police sources is that the number plate which is being used in this car is a fake number plate. While let me show you the visuals of this Bolero car, in which you can see that inside the car there is a number plate of Punjab PB05 AP6114. So it clearly seems that the attackers have already done a recce and they already had the information that Sidhu Moose Wala would be leaving without his security cover and without his bulletproof car, and looking and getting this whole information, the attackers yesterday attacked and shot Sidhu Moose Wala near Jawahar K village. Right now, police have detained around 6 persons and police is still investigating the matter. With video journalist Grish Durgapal, this is Lalit Sharma for India Today, Mansa.
Now, reacting to a letter by Sidhu Moose Wala's father, Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann has now ordered for a probe on the decision to curtail his security. In fact, the Chief Minister has said that culprits won't be spared and a sitting judge of the High Court will investigate this case further. The Punjab government will now fully cooperate in the investigation. He said that Moose Wala's father had written to Chief Minister demanding a probe by the central agencies, by the CBI as well as the NIA into his son's death. Sidhu Moose Wala's father was following him in a car where he saw 2 armed personnel when his killers rained bullets on the 28-year-old singer and his 2 friends. Now, popular Punjabi rap star and Congress leader Sidhu Moose Wala was shot dead on Sunday. The horrific shooting here occurred after his security was curtailed by the Mann government. In fact, the Punjabi singer was attacked at the Jawahar village right near Mansa, close to his home. After receiving multiple bullet injuries, he was pronounced dead at the Mansa hospital. Here's a detailed report.
Cold-blooded murder in broad daylight. Punjabi pop star and Congress leader Sidhu Moose Wala was shot dead on Sunday when suspected gangsters pumped bullets into him. The singer's body and the SUV carrying him was found riddled with bullets fired from as many as 3 weapons. Chilling CCTV footage of a car trailing Moose Wala's car was accessed. In the images, a white SUV is seen tailing Moose Wala's vehicle moments before the murder. Moose Wala, who was seriously injured, was declared brought dead at the hospital.
ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ 3 ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਕੈਜੁਅਲਟੀ ਆਈਆਂ ਸੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਕ ਸ਼ੁਭਦ ਸਿੱਧੂ ਮੂਸੇ ਵਾਲਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਬਰੋਡਡ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਇਆ 2 ਇੰਜਨ ਨੇ 2 ਇੰਜਨ ਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਡਰੈਸਿੰਗ ਵਗੈਰਾ ਕਰਕੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਹਾਇਰ ਇੰਸਟੀਚਿਊਟ 'ਚ ਰੈਫਰ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ
ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਹੀ ਉਹ ਇੱਕ ਲੈਫਟ ਟਰਨ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ 2 ਗੱਡੀਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਇੰਟਰਸੈਕਟ ਕਰਦੀਆਂ ਇੱਕ ਗੱਡੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਬਲੇਰੋ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਇੱਕ ਗੱਡੀ ਸਕਾਰਪੀਓ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਇਮੀਡੀਏਟਲੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਥਾਰ ਗੱਡੀ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਹੈਵੀ ਫਾਇਰਿੰਗ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਹੈਵੀ ਫਾਇਰਿੰਗ ਦੇ ਦੌਰਾਨ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮਿਸਟਰ ਸਿੱਧੂ ਮੂਸੇ ਵਾਲੇ ਨੂੰ ਮਲਟੀਪਲ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਗਨਸ਼ਾਟ ਵੂਨਸ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ
Moose Wala's gruesome murder comes the day after the Aam Aadmi Party government stripped away his security cover, despite a clear gang threat to him. His bereaved mother has blamed the AAP government's incompetence, holding it responsible for the murder. Fellow singer Mika Singh revealed that Moose Wala repeatedly feared for his life while speaking to him.
कि पाजी मैं तो मुंबई में घूम रहा हूँ यहाँ तो कोई टेंशन ही नहीं यार अकेला गाड़ी में घूमूं कोई बॉडीगार्ड की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती कोई सिक्योरिटी की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती कोई बंदा घूर के नहीं आपको देख रहा तो मैंने यही बोला था कि यार आने वाले टाइम में तो इधर ही रुक जाकर मुझे क्या पता था कि इतना बड़ा हादसा उसके साथ होने वाला और वो 4 साल पहले भी यही बातें करते थे कि यार मुझे ऐसे गैंगस्टर ने धमकी दी है ये दी है वो दी है
Punjab's DGP revealed that 4 Punjab commandos were allotted as security for Moose Wala, but this was reduced to just 2 after the AAP government's directive.
ये जो इंसिडेंट है ये एक इंटर गैंग राइवलरी का केस लगता है
Notorious gangster of the Bishnoi gang Goldie Brar has claimed responsibility for the murder seen as a revenge killing for a 2021 gang murder.
शगनप्रीत इनका नाम आया था जो विक्की मिड्डू खेड़ा वाले मर्डर केस में तो उसका रिएक्शन में जो लॉरेंस बिश्नोई गैंग का इसमें हाथ है
Punjab cops have now formed a special investigation team to nab the killers. With Manjeet Sehgal and Lalit Sharma, Bureau Report, India Today.
Now, a gang war angle has emerged in the murder of Punjabi singer Moose Wala. According to sources, jail gangster Lawrence Bishnoi and his gang were behind this killing. Lawrence Bishnoi and his close aide Sandeep, also called as Kala Jatedi, were involved in the extortion racket from the liquor mafia. Several cases were registered against Lawrence all the way from 2013. In fact, in 2009, Lawrence had met with notorious gangster Goldie Brar. As per cops, notorious gangster Goldie Brar was involved in the murder of Sidhu Moose Wala. In fact, Goldie himself has taken responsibility for this murder. Sources have claimed that the singer was killed in connection with the murder of Vicky Madhukera. In fact, Madhukera was gunned down in August 2021. Sidhu Moose Wala's manager, Shaganpreet, was accused of Vicky's murder. Shaganpreet was since then absconding. He's said to be living in Australia. And now this murder is looked at as a revenge killing.
तक इन्वेस्टिगेशन हुई जी, कोई कुछ पता लग गया? बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट लीक्स है, आज भी उनको वर्कआउट किए हैं, मैं जल्दी शेयर करेंगे।
गाड़ियाँ पकड़ी गई हैं, अभी तक कुछ पता
हथियारों को जल्दी
कौन
पकड़ा जाएगा, लीक्स काफी मिल गई है, टीम्स लगी हैं। तक इन्वेस्टिगेशन हुई जी, कोई कुछ पता लग गया? बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट लीक्स है, आज भी उनको वर्कआउट किए हैं, मैं जल्दी शेयर करेंगे।
गाड़ियाँ पकड़ी गई हैं, अभी तक कुछ
हथियारों को जल्दी पकड़ा जाएगा, लीक्स काफी मिल गई है, टीम्स लगी हैं।
All right, let me cut across to Shreya joining us live for more on that. Shreya, give us an understanding on this inter-gang rivalry. That's what the police suspect. But with Goldie Brar coming out and claiming that he himself has murdered Sidhu Moose Wala at the behest of Lawrence Bishnoi, does that make the case easier for the Punjab police? Is there more clarity, or is this really a diversionary tactic?
Well, you know, Nabila, only time will say that whether this is a diversionary tactic or not. But so far, the Punjab police has on record stated that this is a gang rivalry. Now, to just give a better picture to our viewers that what resulted in this, we have to go back to August 2021 when Vicky Mudakhera, who was one of the one of the youth Akali Dal leaders, he was murdered. Now, in his murder case, one of the names that popped up was that of Shaganpreet. Shaganpreet happened to be the manager of Sidhu Moose Wala. Now, he managed to escape the country and allegedly flee to Australia. The Lawrence Bishnoi gang felt that it's because of the clout that Sidhu Moose Wala enjoyed that Shaganpreet could flee the country. So this was a direct impact of that matter, because that's also what has been officially claimed by the Canada-based gangster Goldie Brar. So the police will only have to corroborate the evidence, but so far as the family of Sidhu Moose Wala is concerned, even his father feels that there was a direct threat against him from the Lawrence Bishnoi gang. He's also mentioned the same in that FIR that has been registered by the Mansa police. He's very categorically said that the Lawrence Bishnoi gang had given him threat, is why there was a bulletproof car also that he kept with him. Unfortunately, he didn't travel in that car yesterday. He also left 2 of his gunmen behind. Right. So there are multiple questions on why did he not take his bulletproof car, where was he heading, whether a piece of information was leaked out that he did not have his gunmen. Lot of questions that the Punjab police will still have to answer.
Right, Shreya, thank you very much for joining us on that. Of course, we know that this looks like an inter-gang rivalry, but nonetheless, it's for the police to decide and confirm at the earliest. We know that Sidhu Moose Wala, his security was downgraded by the AAP government. There was no reason as to why the security was downgraded, and just a day after that, it appears that this murder has taken place, with gangsters literally surrounding his car from all 4 corners and gunning him down point blank while he was seated in a car that wasn't bulletproof. Let me cut across to Akshata. In fact, Akshata gives us an understanding into this gang rivalry, this gangster rivalry, which the police suspect to be the reason or the people behind Moose Wala's death.
So the police have gone on record to say that as per the initial investigation, they believe that this killing of Sidhu Moose Wala was a result of gang rivalry. A couple of names that you need to know with this regard. Now, there are essentially 2 prominent gangs in Punjab. Moose Wala belonged to one of these, or at least had links to members of one of these gangs. Now, this gangster Goldie Brar, he lives in Canada. Soon after Moose Wala was gunned down yesterday, he claimed responsibility for it. Then, of course, there was a lot of confusion on that. The other name you need to know is gangster Lawrence Bishnoi. He's currently lodged in jail. He's behind bars in Delhi's Tihar jail. These 2 are known to be close aides, close friends, and are known to extort money essentially from the liquor mafia together. Now, there are 2 reasons that police suspect Sidhu Moose Wala was targeted by these 2 dreaded gangsters. Now, the suspicion here is that they hatched the murder conspiracy living in Canada and sitting in Delhi's Tihar jail, believe it or not. Why? 2 reasons. One is because Sidhu Moose Wala was known to be close to members of the rival gang, a gang which was part of Vicky Gaunder's gang. Vicky Gounder was killed in an encounter, but members of his gang are still very much active. So one is that Moose Wala was considered to be close to members of this gang, rivals of Goldie Brar and Lawrence Bishnoi. The other aspect is with regards to the killing of Vicky Mudakhera. He was killed last year in August 2021. He was known to be a close aide of Lawrence Bishnoi. Now, Bishnoi since then was looking to avenge the death of Mudakhera. Mudakhera was actually killed by a person called Shaganpreet Singh. Now, it gets a little complicated, but stay with me here. Shaganpreet Singh is actually the manager of the Punjabi rap star, of Sidhu Moose Wala. Soon after he killed Midhu Khera, he fled. He left Australia and since then has been absconding, hiding in Australia. Now, Bishnoi wanted to avenge the death of Midhu Khera. How did he do that? He went ahead and targeted Sidhu Moose Wala. And it's clear, obviously, that he knew exactly when to do it. A day after security cover was withdrawn for Moose Wala, Bishnoi and Goldie Brar, it looks like, actually hatched this elaborate murder conspiracy and killed Moose Wala in broad daylight. So this is the suspicion right now of the Punjab police. They're looking into this in greater detail. But these are the names that have emerged. Some of the biggest, most dreaded gangsters in Punjab, it looks like, were behind the killing of Sidhu Moose Wala. Back to you in the studio, Nabila.
Right. Now we see that the gangsters, of course, dreaded gangsters who are currently, many of them in prison, many of them absconding, have been hatching plans since 2013. They're all dreaded gangsters. In fact, I'm going to take you through some exclusive shots here for the first time on national television. You're looking at images of these notorious Lawrence gang, this gang that has been known to carry out some heinous crimes for at least the last decade. This is the image coming in of the Lawrence gang, exclusive images that shows right from 2021 when the Lawrence gang was arrested in a MCOCA case. This was after the arrest where images were taken. A notorious gang, unapologetic. The team here is noted as the most wanted. From different states, they all are, the backgrounds as such. They hail from different parts of India, particularly the northern belt, Punjab, Delhi, Haryana, Rajasthan, Himachal Pradesh. Many of these gangsters belonging to these regions. In the video here that you see, we're going to take you through a video that shows the leader of the gang, Lawrence Bishnoi, seen along with his entire gang. This is the image, the first video that we show to you right here on India Today. Lawrence Bishnoi is the man right in the center and his entire gang, all of them belonging to regions of Himachal, Punjab, Rajasthan, Delhi and a few other parts of the northern belt. In fact, the Rajasthan gangster Sampat Nehra, who had done a recce of Salman Khan's Galaxy apartment, he also can be seen in these images. In fact, Nehra was arrested at that time by Gurgaon police in 2018 after revealing a conspiracy to kill Salman Khan. And then you have another gangster, Jaggu Bhagwanpuria, who is known to be the richest don of Punjab. He was also part of the gang. In fact, Jaggu's relations with many big leaders of Punjab has also come to fore in the past as well. And then you also have Kali Rajput, who's a Haryana gangster, and Raju Basodi, both of them part of this gang, dreaded criminals from Haryana and Rajasthan. The gang have been running their network in all northern states of the country and mostly seated in jail. And that's the scare here, the worry, how brazenly that they've been functioning despite being arrested and seated in multiple different jails. It appears that their modus operandi itself involves setting up plans, carrying out virtual meetings while seated in jail premises, and then hatching the crime with much precision, all while seated in prison. And that's for the authorities to answer as to how they get a free hand while seated in jail.